Here he comes.
Here he comes, the big man.
Yeah, we got it. We got it. It's coming. Let's see.
Yeah.
All right, he's there. There he is. All right, excellent.
We're here.
How you doing, Mike?
I'm glad to be here. Let me show you.
Yeah.
Unbutton this fucking thing here.
Nice.
You can see the Band-Aid.
Oh yes, nice. You got your shot. Congrats. So you got your
June
first
10
Pfizer.
is the next one. And June 10 to June 24, it should be in the clinic.
Nice. Well, is California behind New York generally?
I don't know.
Yeah. All right.
I don't know. I know they're making it easier for people. I saw people like mine I could get at the Rite Aid drugstore, half mile. And there were
Right.
people walking in and getting appointments. So they're really trying to help people if they want to get it, you know?
Yeah, and you know, they just made it,
that's
at
the
least
only
in New
way to
York,
get the
that 12 and
fucking
up can get it.
cut down.
Right.
Well, the age came down to 12, 16 now. That's good too. That's kids. But anyway,
Yeah, totally.
I'm so glad that getting it out.
My wife said the infection rate in our county was at 1%, which is super low. It was pretty bad here.
See, especially when you get the kids.
Right.
That'll really stop it. Really stop it. I'm not so
My kids will
worried
be in the
about
fall.
them getting it. Some of them have been hurt by it, but when they bring it home to grandma, that's the fucked up thing.
Totally.
So, is it happening now?
Sure. I mean, we can just start it, I think.
It's too.
Yeah, we can hold them on. Did you get your records yet, Mike? I got mine this morning.
No, but
they're coming.
Yeah.
You know.
I know today's release date updated the Hoot page, and I showed that.
Awesome. We got the whole.
Realize that today was the thing.
You know, the only thing I didn't realize was that it's not gatefold.
Right.
The art is on the sleeve, but I think it's rad. I think it's great.
No, that's all right. I thought that was going to happen. I wanted gate sleeve, but if it's a cost thing, you know, it might be too much money.
Yeah.
Either way.
But the sleeve looks good.
I think it looks
good.
beautiful.
I mean, you don't get both sides at once. You have to flip it over. But it's a totality. You don't have to compete with Spiel.
Yeah, totally. No,
I
think
the
it's
art
cool.
for the art, you know?
Yeah. Yeah, and they got it here. So I think it looks great. The record itself looks beautiful. Yeah, I'll pull it out for those who are just politely watching along. Here's the sleeve. Let me get right out in the sun, I guess. Is that too bright?
Nice.
No, it looks good here.
Yeah, all right, cool.
Beautiful.
The print is real nice, and then the vinyl is beautiful. Pardon my bumpy hands, but here it comes. There we go. Here's the
close. All right.
Beautiful.
Very nice.
Yeah,
and
steel. Aquamarine.
Yeah, it's great. And then
Last
little
9 o'clock now, so we can start our fucking thing.
Totally. Trivia is that those two little things were drawn by my kid, actually. But
nice.
So,
they weren't part of the art?
They are. He did it on the actual painting. He went over there and did that.
Supplemented it.
Yeah, it's great. No, it's part of it. So
cool. Because when did you do that? You told me it was a number of years ago.
Yeah, I think it's from maybe 2017 or so. I have to look on the back of it, but I don't have it here at the moment.
Well, the guy.
Yeah, I mean, I've got.
I just thought it went fucking happening with the green.
Yeah, I think it looks great. I love it. It's
you know, the cover kind of
originally
dictated
thought
for me.
that's great.
I wanted the back to be a contrast, that snow shit, but then the green on the front, you go with the green of the painting. I thought there was going to be more snow on the ground, but it probably melts quick.
Yeah, it's hard to.
But you got it on the back, so it was good. It would have been overdone if it would have been the front and the back.
Yeah. No, I mean, it looks on the back like what it looks like when it snows here. It's not like it used to snow. I mean, I grew up in Maine. Snow was serious. Here it's
Big drifts.
here it's like, pretty. In Maine, it would be a problem, you know. So I prefer
Right.
pretty, I guess.
Yeah, Jay Maskus told me about, because he's West Mass and he would ski in Vermont, and he
Yeah,
said that all changed.
yeah, totally. Got to go further north if you want a big enough season.
Yeah.
I used to go every weekend from I used to go snowboarding every weekend from this is the Weather Channel, by the way.
He was more of a skier.
Yeah,
The
yeah, I
weather.
started
Yeah,
it.
my knees, fuck. I remember there was this introduction for the Wild World of Sports, and they showed this motherfucker flip
I,
over on a
I
long jump or some shit. It's like
I remember
helicopter.
that.
It's like fucking helicopter blades. I mean, I can
Totally.
imagine his knees just twisting and oh shit. And
Can
I
I
think
tell
the
you something
man,
crazy about
I
Wide
can't
World of
remember the
Sports?
man's name, but he would say the agony of defeat, the thrill of
Chip
victory,
something.
and then the
Chip.
agony of defeat.
Chip.
That
Yeah.
guy was taking the fucking beat down.
So you know what? That guy from Wide World of Sports, Chip Nelson or whatever the fuck his name is, he runs a jazz festival in Northern California, in like Ukiah or something, and the jazz festival is held in the famous racehorse Seabiscuit's old building that this guy Chip bought and reassembled piece by piece on his property. I can't remember the name of the festival right now. I played there a
No,
couple
I
years
think
ago.
Seabiscuit's at Santa Anita. I think he's in the paddock. He's buried in the fucking paddock.
Oh, I just mean this guy bought his
Yeah.
building and
He was kind
reassembled
of
it piece
funny
by
shape,
piece.
right? He had kind of short legs. And, Pettibone, Raymond took me track buttloads of times. Santa Anita is beautiful. You could go the infield, but you could also go to the paddock when they bring him out from the stables. And I think he's buried there.
Really?
Got like a
Okay.
statue over his fucking. I
Yeah.
don't know what town he was from. I think he was a cow horse, cow bred.
Uh-huh. Well,
But I
Chip
don't know.
Nelson ended
There's
up
been
marrying.
some controversy because a big trainer,
Right.
Bob Baffert, right, won his 7th, and then they took it away, and he blames it on cancer.
Yeah.
Yeah, it could be drugs in your horse, Oh, the testing's too sensitive. He had a dermatitis. He had a skin problem. Now, we had a problem with Santa Anita killing horses. Maybe almost 40 of them died in a year. And I think
Really?
that the track got too hard from rain. They got like clay.
Really?
In Europe, they only run on turf.
Where I live has the oldest. I can't remember what the name of the type of horse racing is, but we have the oldest track in the country right in downtown Goshen. It's where the jockeys sit in the back in a cart.
That's called
Harness racing.
yeah, and they're not allowed to run. They just trot. And that
Exactly.
thing that
Trotters.
he's in is a sulky. That's the little fucking cart.
Yeah. Okay. So
Sulky.
that oldest one in the country is in our
Sulky, and
town,
it comes
and
from
one of my
that
son's
shit.
classmates is the Tom
But
Brady of
Raymond always
harness
said
racing,
that shit was fixed because, like I said, they can't break into full runs.
and nobody likes
This
him.
kind of trot shit. Yeah, you got to hold back. So they think, it's easier to manipulate the race.
Oh yeah. Okay. Mm.
That's why that's and I take his word. Raymond
Yeah.
investigates his shit pretty
man.
thoroughly.
He's got to come up here, man. We go to a race. They do it for 4 weeks.
So I was asking people to only talk about 3-layer cake. So maybe we should talk about 3-layer cake, not be hypocrites.
Yeah. Yeah. Okay. Great.
So
So
everybody understands how this project came around, right? It's cut from you being on the Walk from Pedro show. I'm going to have in 2 hours is going to be Elmo Kirkwood. Remember when he was born?
really,
Yeah, he had a twin sister, Katie and Elmo. I remember when they were born, man. And here I'm going to talk to this guy in his 30s now, playing in his father's band, and it's a trip. But anyway, this project 3-layer cake started as you as a guest on Watt from Pedro show, and I think the connect was
Evan Lipson. Yeah.
Because he connected a lot of cats. We should tell people he's a string bass player that's played with a lot of cats.
Yeah.
And he introduced me to a lot of folks. And when we had our talk, you said you would bring some drums.
Yeah.
And I was all excited about hearing about your journey in music, and I had just had Jack Ride on and all this kind of stuff that Evan Lipson has turned me on to.
Yeah,
And I thought, well, let's put the theory into practice. So you
totally.
brought me the drums, I brought you the bass, and you brought it. I said, you pick the third layer. And so you picked Brandon Seabrook, who I had actually had on the show, and he actually played in Pedro, and I actually shared a stage at a festival in the Outer Harbor here. And so that's the connect to the project. That's how it was, that straightforward, that simple and stuff.
Totally.
A lot of shit, it's just the initiative.
Mm.
I don't think brainstorming ideas is always the toughest part. It's really putting them into practice and make them actual, and not just fucking, chop it up, put it in the pipe shit.
Right.
Right.
Yeah. Yeah. I'm definitely the type of person that if I propose something or say yes to something, it means I want to do it, and I want to do it like now, So, and you never know if the other person you're talking to is like that at all. And I definitely immediately learned that Mike Watt is the same way. So it was easy to get
Well,
going.
the energy you showed in response was like, okay, it's more than just bringing the drums. This guy's going to end up baking the motherfucker.
Right.
That's what I was thinking. Because
Yeah.
I really don't have, maybe it's being a bass player, but I don't have this prejudice against rhythm section. There's nothing wrong with the tenors and the soloists and all that. They're important cats. That's how you look good, is making them look good. But
Totally.
as far as getting shit together, you need keel, you need rudder, you need bow. Everybody can't be doing the same. So you delegate this stuff out. And it's funny how a project like this comes totally from the rhythm section, but it's not like it was a beat down on Brandon. Brandon comes in and he invents all these parts. And I think it's because we gave him a framework. We gave him bulkheads to hang shit on.
Totally.
We gave him a deck to dance on.
Right. Totally.
A deck to dance on. Yes.
Yeah.
Well, I could have said foundation, but God.
I'm writing
No,
it down.
no, I dig it. I think that's
Could have gave you
exactly.
the fucking dough for the chicken pot pie. I mean, but that, and it was a surprise to me too, because I didn't know what was going to be the other pick. And then, but when Brandon brought what he did, it was like, fuck yeah, things should be this simple to make a project, to make a band.
Right.
And it either falls flat, it's lame or shit, but it reveals itself like that. And no bullshit, trying to talk it up, trying to hype it up and make it more than it is.
Right.
And then you bring, I was afraid because I was really pleased with the three parts. And then I thought it was just going to turn into a staleo and just sit on some shelf forever and have a horrible fucking dinosaur fossil time,
Yeah.
So that's why my suggestion was get it on a band campaign, whatever, just get it out there. So the proof would be in the pudding. And then you said you had to connect with this Rare Noise Records people, and then the shit he showed right away, the enthusiasm.
Yeah.
Fast. Yeah. That's right. Yeah. I mean, I just had a feeling that I should reach out to him because he and I had been working on something that will come out later this year. That kind of stopped. And so I just thought, well, this thing is right up his alley, I think. So before we put it up on Bandcamp or whatnot, I should just let him know I have this. And are you interested? And he responded immediately, yeah, I'm interested. And in later conversations we had, it seemed like it was serendipitous because at that moment he was wondering what direction you might go with the label for some reason. At the same time, I sent him this project, and it just seemed serendipitous for all of us. And it did move quickly and nicely, right?
Yeah.
Like, no bullshit.
Yeah, thanks for doing it. Thanks for making that happen.
Yeah. I just,
thanks for talking about
because I've done things like this I've loved in the moment, and then the moment takes about 10 fucking years to reveal itself. So, and I mean, in the older days, that was just part, the resources, right? But it's different days now, and we can get stuff out there so people can hear. And by doing that, you can get on to the next one, and things got a shot at it, and none of the shelf life shit.
Right.
You outside your pad, Mike?
I am. You know, I was just taking the vinyl out of the sun because it's like 80 degrees, and I have the record just right next to me.
You got 80 degrees.
We do
You
today.
know about Southern California in May and June, right?
Super wet.
Well, it's the mornings. We got this thing called marine layer. So people get all bummed out. They come here and like, why is it all gray? May gray and June gloom, huh? Because of this, you got mountains next to ocean.
Right.
Okay, so the different temperatures of air. So by noon it'll be sunny, but like the early morning. So it's always gray in the morning.
Okay, yeah. No, it's at its nicest in the morning here, and by 4 o'clock
because the humans coming.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. Humans come in and it fucks it up every day. So.
Yeah, I can imagine. I remember living in Schenectady for that little period. My little sister. Yeah. Man, it got so humid, and the mosquitoes were like monsters.
Yeah, we're expecting a real bad summer for, what is it, cicada this year, maybe, is what it is? I can't remember.
Cicadas.
Yeah, it might be. It's like
they call them semis. The most intense one I heard was in Tokyo. I was staying in this old pad that was right near China and Korea embassies. So all kind of new neighborhood, but they had this old pad called New Zealand, kind of a guest house or something. It was an acronym, you know. Anyway, I thought there was construction going on because it sounded like power tools. We're talking circular saws and fucking power drills and shit. You wouldn't believe this. And it's their songs. There's like 5 basic songs, them rubbing their legs to get, because they're only alive a little bit above the ground to get this, yeah. And you see their they molt, you know, molt, yeah. So their body skeletons are later. It's like, oh man, pretty dinosaur.
I was in Puerto Rico with, on my honeymoon with my wife forever ago, and them and the coqui frogs were so loud, it was incredible.
Yeah, so that cicada noises, it makes crickets like, crickets.
Yeah.
It's tiny compared to their.
Oh, yeah. It's nice out in my yard because I get all the different layers. Get all the dynamic groupings of the bugs going. I mean, you can just sit in my backyard, and that's kind of the best music ever. But so I have a 3-layer cake question. Jamie Branch, the great Jamie Branch, the great trumpet player Jamie Branch, asked us where she can get the CD or the LP or whatever. You can get it everywhere that sells this stuff as of today, and also on the Bandcamp page, which is the usual like 3-layer cake Bandcamp. But there's links all over.
RareNoiseRecords.com.
There you go, RareNoiseRecords.com. Their website's all about it right now. So. Yeah, you can get it just about anywhere. It's an amazing product, in my opinion. As a record collector, I am psyched to have this in my collection, and even if I hated the music, which I don't at all. All right, Kevin Riley has some good questions. Should we pull him in? Kevin Riley, I'm going to get to the bottom of these comments. Give me say something, Kevin Riley, if you want to get. Yeah, there you go. Thanks, Watt. If you want to get in and ask these questions here, aside, I like crickets, but I see some pretty.
No, I don't own an upright bass. I used a moon bass for this 3-layer cake recording at 1995, made in Tokyo. It kind of looks like a Fender Jazz. And Larry Graham, I guess, helped these guys design this thing. And you know what's trippy about it is the fretboard is painted. You don't see a lot of that shit. So it's a white body, but also the fretboard is white. I did some changes. I pulled out the preamp so it's passive, and I switched out the pickups. They were single coil Bartolinis, and they hummed a lot, and they had kind of this low mid bark. And I put in these Lindy Fralin. Lindy Fralin's a pickup winder in Virginia, and he made these split Ps to put right in. I also changed the bridge. Hip Shot makes something that's kind of like Leo Kwan's Badass. It's got width adjustment because to get the string in there between the pole pieces. So those are the 2 things. I tried to do a stand-up in the 90s. I even made a Kills Rockstar 7-inch called Little Pit. But it was just too hard. It's the action and also this up and down thing versus sideways.
Yeah. Well, it must be totally different. I mean,
I tried, I thought the way you learn is by doing it, and to really make yourself learn. Yeah, do a fucking recording thing because people are gonna hear it, right? So you're gonna soil yourself or fucking learn it. This was a plywood. I ended up giving it back to the guy who gave it to me, the cat in New Mexico, sweet man, who had a fight with cancer and he got healed. So here's the bass, but I can't do anything with it. I got made a single with it. Steve Perkins was on the drums, Talia singing. Guy from Moscow, Leo, played a violin and clarinet. And it was a trippy little thing. Lil Pitt. I went to this club, I think downtown LA, just north of K-Town. It was called the White Horse, and they had a fucking pit that was 4 tiles. It was the littlest pit. Like maybe 2 dudes could get in this fucking pit. Like 4, maybe 6-inch tiles. So maybe it was like a foot by a foot, 2 foot. So you could get 2 dudes tops in this pit. It was so fucking tiny. And it was sort of like stovetop. Like one day, I'm going to use this for a band name. And I did for that stand-up bass garage.
Yeah.
I tried to record something else. I even tried to do arco with it with a bow. And my shit was weak. It was short. So I just cut rope and stayed with the electric bass. I tried. It wasn't like, I argued it out of my mind. I did try it.
I don't believe it's an easy transition. I think those things are
especially
special.
when you get where the body meets the neck. You got to turn your hand sideways, and the muscles are the muscles are in your forearm anyway. So those are just tendons, but man, you feel it on the back of your fucking hand bad. Yeah. And now I've got maybe since the end of the 1990s, what's that called? Y2K. When that started coming on, that's when I switched to gigs short scale because my hands were hurt. I couldn't hold the steering wheel after playing. Getting too sore. There's nothing wrong sitting down recording with big ones, but I couldn't do gigs. So what I've learned to do is like if you feel pain, time to change.
Yeah.
And there must be shit like that with the drums, or maybe you're not at that point yet. Although you got a bad back, right?
Yeah, at times. I mean, back doesn't bother me unless it's out. But yeah, my back goes out every once in a while. But with drums, yeah, there'll be certain tensions in what you're playing that after a while, you're going to burn out. And yeah, I go until the burnout starts, and then, you got to change, or it just falls apart. So, but the more I push it, the further I can go each time. So, it's a lifelong process. Yeah, totally. I get to a certain point where I have to change physically what I'm doing. I can't do it anymore. So
Billy gave himself bursitis by playing with and Descendants. Billy playing with too big of sticks too hard. So what he had to do was fucking get another hi-hat because he couldn't make the move over.
Oh yeah.
So it's not like he plays 2 hi-hats at once. One's for each area because the cups got all fucking right.
Oh, I know exactly.
When I was good to talk about, especially for younger people getting into this, because this is when the damage is done, when your body can take it.
Totally. Listen, when I was in Millions of Dead Cops, I was always mostly playing the hi-hat, almost all the time. And this arm, especially my shoulder, got way overbuilt as opposed to this side and started to permanently kind of go out. And the shoulder kept popping out.
Oh.
And if I had just thought to just move my hi-hat over here like a metal dude, I wouldn't have had that problem because I could have been squared up. But I just destroyed that whole side of my body for a couple of years.
You got to be conscious
than I did.
Somebody asked about a cassette release. I think that would be good.
That would be cool.
What's the dealio? What's the dealio with Bandcamp? They can do cassette releases, but it would go through Rare Noise?
I have no idea.
Because I've seen offers on Bandcamp pages for like vinyls and for cassettes. They usually sell out. They're usually a limited number.
Right. Yeah. Well, that's maybe something for Rare Noise to think about.
I got this room here that's got racks, maybe 1,000 cassettes. This is from Torn in the 80s. No air conditioning either, so the fucking windows were never rolled up.
Uh-huh.
You had to blast these motherfuckers. Yeah, they got 1,000 of them at least, you know.
Yeah.
I ain't gonna. Yeah, because that used to be the coche. You know, the way you listen to music in a automobile, right?
Yeah.
It's cassette.
Yeah, I got a wall of cassette still.
Okay, remember them little wood fucking rack things?
Oh, that's exactly
I got
what
them all
I have.
screwed
3 of
together
those
to make
stacked.
like. Yeah, I got the whole bulkheads fucking, and you would get so deaf because to hear it over the fucking wind, the wind coming in.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, my
over
ear
105, 110 dB. Yeah, it's just beat you up, just fatigue from the sound. But yeah. I'm into a cassette happening.
Me too.
If they'd be into that, and I guess maybe a U card or J card so they could see the art.
Right. Well, yeah, totally. Yeah.
Yeah, you should talk to John Cono about that.
Let's see. Okay. So I got a question early on that we never got to, which was because on the back there's a thanks to Eddie Van Halen. Obviously, somebody asked what our individual.
I think that's Brandon Seabrook, right?
Yeah. What our individual favorite moments of his playing. So, Brandon, do you want to go first? Do you have a moment? I have a moment that I first remember, which was just the feel on Hot for Teacher. And you know, just like it was like an updated, speedier feel of Lagrange. So it was
I was going to say ZZ Top.
Yeah.
There's tons of ZZ Top and Edwards sound. Tons of
and
Billy
ZZ
Gibbons
Top has tons of Lightning Hopkins.
Oh yeah,
which is trippy because he mainly played acoustic. Those licks actually come off acoustic playing. Just shows to go you, right?
Totally.
You know, human expression is what it is. We take and twist it up and reinvent it. It's all right.
Yeah, that's how it happens.
So Eddie, probably because Billy, you know, that band's good. I think 70 is when they start. They're one of the oldest bands that ain't changed a member. I think Four Tops is the oldest.
I think oh really? Four Tops is longer. Okay.
Yeah, they never replaced, never had a new dude.
Right.
And so I know Eddie heard some licks, just like Billy heard some licks. You know, right. Lightning was Houston, and so is Billy.
Yeah.
So I don't know. What's your theory, Brandon?
Yeah, well, there's that great Les Banks.
Yeah,
Lightning Hopkins. It's really great. That's great. Yeah. You know, my favorite Eddie Van Halen moment was probably seeing them on the last tour, and hearing him play live. And it was probably the greatest guitar sound I've heard at that volume. It was so loud, but it didn't hurt your ears. It was a beautiful sound. It was like, I couldn't even believe it. I couldn't believe it. And yeah, that was probably my most special Van Halen moment. And I was really
it was arena rock, right?
It was arena rock, but I was close.
You know what I'm saying? For it to have good sound and shitty acoustics, that's pretty happening.
It was how I couldn't believe it. And but on record, oh my God. I think probably on the first album, the solo on I'm the One is probably one of my favorite moments.
Okay.
Because it's just him playing. There's no background rhythm. He's playing the whole thing in one take live. They're playing it live in the studio, and he's going in between, effortlessly in between, you know, leads, tapping, rhythm. Incredible feel on that tune. And yeah, watching him do it live made me go back and appreciate the records even more, because you see him up there doing it live, effortlessly going between all these feels and techniques. And anyway, you know, I have a soft spot for Van Halen.
Yeah.
So that's why, and he passed this year, so I felt like I had to give him a thanks for the influence, you know?
Yeah, no, I thought it was great.
So thanks for letting me put that on there.
No problem.
Yeah.
I think you thank somebody else too, right?
I thank my wife, Annie Blondette Medina.
And she's the one who made Big Burner the video, right?
She's made Big Burner, which somebody asked in the last time what the influence was for that was, and I'll just keep it brief, but it was the Salvador Dali cookbook, Dinners de Gala, and some of the sculptures were a direct lift from this book that we made for the video. So check this book. This book is wild. Yeah, especially this one with the lobsters. And so this is where we got the influence for the imagery, for the video. To give you some context on that.
Yeah, okay. And then I think I put Joe Baiza for my thing because of the stovetop.
Yeah.
And just the idea, you know, he wanted to play guitar, so he just did it. Just like we made this record. Just do it. Will it.
Right.
Nietzsche, Friedrich Nietzsche, right? The will. Without being all weird. Being creative and stuff.
Being weird and creative is good, I think.
Well, you know, yeah. People take some ideas like, well, by the way, let's reorganize society this way. It's like, oh, okay. And of course, it gets twisted up into somebody else's weird fucking problem. So, yeah. That's why I think bands are popular, the idea. And it's hard to be a solo guy.
Yeah.
Because the band, in a way, is kind of an abstraction. Even a project like this, where you put it together just for the moment of the album, it's still like a success where so many countries have failed at putting a perfect political unit together. Wow, look, they did it with their music project.
Right. Yeah, it was easy.
Yeah, or whatever. It happened.
It happened.
You can make this thing that comes together and people can rally around it and stuff. And
totally.
like everybody had all their views representative. Nobody had to compromise or got short shifted. And just, obviously there's a lot of dirt behind the Daydream.
No, but I agree.
There's something about it. There's something about it what people like.
Yeah.
And why they'll always dig. And why some guys, you wonder why some guys keep milking a fucking band name. Like nobody's left in the band, right? But they keep flogging it.
Yeah.
And I think this is one of the reasons and stuff. So when the three-layer cake tours come with like none of the original members. It's just the lady who made the video. It's just the lady who made the videos out there touring.
This is a good question, and it's my own question. If we all were replaced, who would it be?
I told you, the lady who made the video.
Jess Brandon's wife.
Yeah.
And Eve can do it.
No disrespect. I should know her name. What's her name?
She plays keyboard and piano, and
so
she led her own projects and her own bands. She's very
so
she could do it, and she sings.
She's in the on deck circle.
She's in the on deck circle for sure. And she has the visuals.
Because we got the brand going, and just fucking start flogging it.
The brand.
The brand.
My wife would be more like who's that Canadian comedian Stephen Wright or whatever. You know, it would be
Oh, really?
Yeah, I think so. Unintentionally so, but so.
But I think there's something about it. The West Bruce and Lang, Emerson, Lake and Palmer. I mean, that starts sounding like legal firms.
Yeah, right. Yeah.
You know, they're the magic's gone.
Oh, somebody asked, Luke V. Murphy asked, would you consider a fourth member, and who would you think would fit? That might be too many aboard. Maybe a guest, maybe a fourth guest, maybe a guest or something.
I have an opinion about that. Just thinking about it, hearing the first two layers on half of the new stuff. And should I say what my opinion is, that there could be a guest on a thing or two, or should I just keep it to ourselves?
Well, I think you just how do we unring the bell? I think you just let it
out.
Yeah.
Well,
how do you?
Okay.
It's like, that's why a judge tells the jury to ignore shit, but you can't unring. They say unring the bell, right? You can't unring the bell.
I can guarantee this person is not watching. So I would say having Jack Wright come in and do something.
Oh,
Would,
wow. On tenor?
tenor or alto. Probably tenor would be it, but I bet he'd make the perfect decision.
That's great.
Wow.
Yeah.
Wow, yeah, I would be for that. I would be
guest on
for
a
that.
few
I like the
tracks,
way us three play, but if there was one cat, and then he is also so significant to the Proj. He's
Right.
one of the
That's why-
he's the kindling in a way.
And me and Brandon had played with him.
And that's right. He's a touchstone also. He's a touchstone.
You know,
Me
we did
and
2
Lipson played
gigs.
in his band. Me and Ed currently in his band.
I was looking through old emails after our first talk to remember when we played with Jack, and I found it. We actually played 2 shows. We played one in the East Village, and then we played one at Jonathan's house.
Oh,
and
right.
Supposedly, there's a recording of that. Anyway, but we.
I bet Jack recorded it to mini disc or whatever.
You said that Ben Gerstein had a recorder, and he recorded it, so maybe he archived it. But anyway, we all know Jack.
But your plan is to have Jack react to all 3 of us?
I think so. I think that would be interesting to give him like 2-3 tracks and give him 2.
Well, just for shits and giggles.
Yeah.
What about have him do one?
Yeah.
And
then we react to that.
Yeah.
That's cool. That's a great idea. Get him in.
All right. I will totally ask him about
Jack.
that.
Yeah.
And I think that's a great idea. And that.
Okay, so thanks for the 4th dude question.
Yeah, exactly.
Because you just fucking brought the Proj into another direct.
Exactly, which is always exciting. If we were to add any vocalist, who would it be? All right, I won't go first this time. Who would you guys say?
Well, I was asked on the first one, and I just thought if people would think it was just a Watt side Proj, and that's why I'm reluctant.
Okay, fair enough.
Yeah,
understand. Yeah,
you know what I mean. I just want I think you guys deserve better, and it's just the situation. There's nobody being evil or anything, but just the situation. People who don't know and they hear Watt's voice and the music, it must be a Watt.
Yeah, I know what you mean.
Just got asked to be a part of this gig in October with Joe Berardi and Motoko Honda, and it was an improvised album, and it was one of these kind of new situations, right? And all of a sudden, the promoter wants to call it the Mike Watt Trio. I was the fucking caboose.
Right.
I was the learner. I was the student.
Yeah.
And all of a sudden now it's. So that's why I was reluctant to do that,
Yeah.
I think if you and Brandon came in, I would put Spiel with you guys. But by myself, I think it would just, to listeners.
Yeah.
Maybe we could all
our thing. They would just, here's, contemplating the fucking head or what. Here's the next chapter.
Maybe we could all spiel a text.
Yeah, I would
together.
do it with you guys. But
like multi-track. Yeah, like a choir.
Like if there was a singer outside and I had my choice, I would pick Bob Mould.
Wow.
Because he sings so bizarre. He always gives it everything he's got. And how would he do that in an improvised situation? Yeah. You could tell that he's worked out all the rhymes, all the choruses, all the verses, and it's beautiful the way he songwrites, And then he sets it up so he can sing with every fucking ounce he's got, right? So I wonder how he would do that in an improvised situation.
Yeah, interesting. Yeah, he's never done that, right? I
don't think so. But I'm pretty sure he'd be capable. So if that's the question being asked to me, and I had to think of somebody, I think Bob Mould. And then for a lady, probably Yaka with the melt banana.
Oh yeah, yeah.
Yeah, that voice can cut through fucking anything.
Right.
That'd be cool, yeah.
I mean, Brandy could set up a whole fucking shrubbery and shit. She would just, that voice would
Yeah, totally.
Because here's the thing, I think it's really strong, the instrumental part. So it would have to have a singer. Maybe even who's the Tomahawk guy? Mike Patton. But
right.
Not our Mike Patton, but the NorCal one. He's kind of interesting like that, right? He knows how to work his voice. Well, he sets up the music, right? So he can sing over it.
Yeah.
But or you know who's the big daddy in my book? Damo
Yeah.
Suzuki. Yeah, because he's the guy who
He
I'm
can.
going to build a gig out of my voice. You guys are going to follow my voice.
Right. Right.
He's got the balls as big as church bells to do that shit.
Yeah, I've played in Malcolm Mooney's band as well.
Okay, the first singer, right? Okay.
Yeah.
I saw him do something like that with MX80 sound, but he was kind of reading out of a book. I think he had a book of lyrics. Damo, I think, no book, but a lot of it's phonetic, right? They're sounds. Are they actual words?
Yeah. With Malcolm, yeah, he's got words. It's like
Malcolm's
pages.
are words, but Damo is more like sounds, right?
Yeah, I mean, Malcolm will have things written within the poem, just like you would see it if you were reading it in a book. There will be some creative juxtapositions
Well, I
going on.
remember when I saw him with MX80, he actually had a book down there and he was reading it.
Yeah, totally. He gave us like the white paper he printed off right before we started it out. So yeah, he's amazing. He's deep with Alex Marcello, who's a great keyboard player that played in my band from Bacteria to Boys. But Malcolm's amazing.
So that's some ideas of singers. What about you, Brandon?
Well, yeah, I was pretty obsessed with this Charlie Looker album. What's his band? It came out last year. Psalm Zero. And his voice is so strange, and I think you either love it or people either love it or they don't. So I wonder what he would sound like. It's really a taste. You have to get used to it. No, just I love Charlie's music.
No,
but I know. You know what I mean?
I do. I mean, me and Charlie have had an improvised band that exists in the same realm, even more extremely, for better of my 20 years since moving to New York. But we never vocalized together, although we both have sang in other projects. And yes, his singing is peculiar and an acquired taste.
So I think that part of it would make it a good thing.
He knows how to improvise. He's an amazing.
With our stuff to put with in our thing, and even if you wrote some lyrics or improvised lyrics and got into some vocal production on like ones. I mean, I don't know. It just seems like it would be a nice juxtaposition, a nice clash.
Alec,
Bob Mould. I mean, I'm trying to think of some real.
You played in a circus, right, with that cat Alec who lives in Providence now.
Oh, Alec Redfern?
Yeah, he was a West Mass guy, and then actually he was Connecticut, and then or something. But nowadays he's Providence, and he told me he was in a circus or some kind of trippy ass pert near vaudeville thing. Where you guys played like the background music for this kind of wild performance stuff.
Oh yeah, burlesque. Oh yeah. We were in Beat Circus together, and we played.
That's what it's called.
Burlesque shows. Yeah. I love Alec. We played a lot together. He would be a great vocalist, actually. Yeah, actually.
He's got an electric thing now called Doom, but he's still got his eye. He's got his eyesores too.
Eyesores. He
plays accordion.
Yeah, he's great accordion. He would be good for vocals too. He might be a good choice.
And the accordion
also
might be a trippy foil.
Yeah,
to bring in a fourth thing, that had its own space.
Yeah, because I did play some organ on the on this.
It is kind of an organ. It's like a portive, right?
Yeah.
A couple different organs going. Couple things, but there's definitely, to be honest, when I put the LP on, I just got my records today, so Kevin Riley, yours is on the way. I just got mine today. I was listening to it, kind of like jamming along with my keyboard, and it was pretty fun, and I was thinking, oh, this shit's fun to jam along with. So anyways, I encourage people who buy this album that once you get to know it, just sit on your instrument and jam along. It's pretty fun, actually. I played drums along to it too, just to see if it was fun, and it was fun. Pride. How long have I been painting? I've been painting my whole life.
Don't tell us the number.
Yeah. Well, I'm 42.
Nice.
No, I'll be 42. I'm not there yet. I'll be 42 this. But yeah, I've been painting my whole life. Just like I've always been doing music. It was normal. I used to do art shows like 15 years ago in Brooklyn and New York, and around like 2005, I decided to focus on playing drums rather than like playing clarinet and playing in singer-songwriter bands and being Mr. Recording Session. I decided to just play the drums and work on my and everything else kind of went out of the public, out of me putting it in any possibility in public space, including painting, but I still do it. I've always done it. I'm just not motivated to make anything of it beyond what I get at personally. Whoever's interested can enjoy it.
I thought it was great to have part of the art of the album.
I love it. I think it looks real nice.
And it was something I didn't know about. I just knew by going to your website. That's how
Right.
I found out.
Website.
And I just thought that would be the greatest thing. Now, people, it ain't a gatefold, but the art exists. It's just on each side of the
Exactly.
all that
Yeah. The sleeve.
sleeve.
Yeah.
Yeah. Sometimes they put lyrics on those things. We got the art.
Yeah.
And in the CD, it's a book. It's sort of like the gatefold. Like
Yeah, that CD's pretty much it. So, yeah. I mean, Kevin, if you went and looked through any albums that I've been associated with where I had any say, it probably involved art or design in some way, and in many cases, paintings. I did paintings for Claire Cooper, a harpist in Australia, for an album she did. I did Ava Mendoza. I did something for Ava Mendoza that she didn't end up using, so I've done
Our Lady.
Yeah.
We got to do. I was helping MSSD with Mike Baguetta.
Yeah.
And the last gig was in New York City. This club's already gone. It was fucking Brownies for a while. They called it Coney Island Baby, right? A Lou Reed record. And it's already gone. Yeah.
I loved Brownies.
But she did Funhouse with us.
Oh, yeah?
Baguetta and Eva Mendoza on guitar. Steve Hodges was on the drums.
Sweet.
Yeah, and she's really industrious. She's actually from Orange County here in Cali.
Uh-huh.
And I met her through Devin Hoff, the stand-up bass player.
Uh-huh.
But to me, she represents, and maybe Brandon, you can help me out with this. Nels Cline, in my opinion, has opened up a lot of ways. I mean, Eddie Van Halen was showing people a way to do electric guitar, and I think he inspired a lot of cats like Brandon. But Nels Cline, too. Like the stuff you could do with the electric guitar, it hasn't been totally defined. There's a lot of stuff that still can be. Yeah, you agree?
I agree, absolutely.
When I hear Eva Mendoza play, I hear a lot of that, and a little bit Mike Baguetta too. You know, Nels really opened up without being like all elitist. You know, music is music. But by the way, you can like fucking let the freak flag fly if you want.
Right.
Absolutely.
Yeah. Totally.
Absolutely.
Yeah, really. Yeah, a lot of Nels Cline's influence is subtle. I don't think it's all overt because he don't like to toot his own horn and shit. So he just puts it out there and stuff. And even him playing Mr. Tweedy's band and putting out that stuff.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? It's not just some kind of generic pad. He's still putting out them kind of lots of persona in the idea thing. And I think it's helped make things safe to go crazy with the guitar. You know, in a way, Mike, me and you got it kind of a little bit easier being bass and drums because we're still mysterious. The guitar's been out there and so defined in certain ways. We need cats like that. And actually, I think, Brandon, you're part of that too. I like the way you can blur shit with the band. Why isn't the banjo? You know, banjo used to be so popular.
Yeah.
In blues.
Yeah,
I
early
don't
jazz.
think people ever imagined blues as a banjo instrument, but it was the main one in the Charlie Patton days.
Yeah, absolutely.
Big time. It's how Keith got into the 5-string changing for 5-string changeover for the Stones. Was learning that those are open banjo tunings.
Yeah.
So I really think that's interesting. And Nels Cline never even pursued banjo. You know, he's opened up to more like lap steel. And even tried some pedal steel. He told me that's such a own world, own universe. But all this stuff where there's all this possibility with guitar players, I really dig it. And what Ava's doing, you know, and she's part of this kind of movement and kind of things, you know. And you yourself, you're part of this, Mike Baguetta. There's a cat in New Orleans who puts on gigs called Rob Cambry. You know this cat?
Don't know.
Yeah, he puts on free music gigs. And I mean, there's little nests of this all over the place, you know. And I think it's really important. And I really feel glad to be part of aiding and abetting it. So to hear that you're doing paintings for her, even if they weren't used. So what?
Yeah, it was. I did. Yeah, it was.
You still
Yeah.
got to connect.
Yeah, totally. And you know, she is on John Robigon's new album that I'm on, and I played with her and Devin Hoff and Peter Evans for a gig of hers at the Stone one time, like a year or two ago. So we know each other. We're friends. We work occasionally. So.
And what was the topic of this spiel here? Ask a question.
Yeah, what was it? Oh, somehow we got to her from singers, I think is what the question was.
Yeah, but let's get another question. I mean, we've answered, what, 2 of them? 3 of them?
Yeah, exactly. Okay, let's see here.
It's just a bunch of smartasses being so fucking unfunny. I'd like to, you know, break my leg off in their ass.
Well, I got a question you're bound to love, which was, is the stovetop gas or electric?
Yeah, see?
Mr.
You think that really deserves an answer?
I knew it would get a response. Let's see.
Yeah, I saw it, and it did get a response. But
yeah, okay.
Yeah, you used your fucking pry bar on me.
Yeah. All right. Let's see here. Well, does anybody want to come on and ask a question? We can have one person on. I invited a ubiquitous question asker, but they declined.
Oh, isn't that convenient?
Yeah. So, but that's okay. You know, it's all good. You know,
hide behind your questions. Just post whatever you want. You don't want to come in.
Any more videos in the works?
Ice your leg. Don't go out too soon. It's only a 95%. That leg.
Keep that Ben Gay loose.
Ben Gay?
Yeah.
Got a strong odor.
You go for Tiger Balm.
People are going to know you're wearing it.
Yeah.
Know you're wearing
Tiger
it.
Balm.
But it can help. There's something about that menthol shit, right?
Oh man, I'll tell you a funny story. We on the Amy Schumer tour, she gifted us some like talcum powder, and one of the members of the band put too much talc on himself and went up wearing black pants. And the photographer was like, "Hey, next time you're gonna wear black pants, you probably shouldn't have some talcum powder on yourself." And you could see his crotch powder all over the outside of his black pants.
Here's a good question. Here's a good one. Here's a thoughtful question by Sam Block Ward. Do you guys think about music theory when you improv, or do you try to disconnect from theory?
That's a good question. Sam's in Iowa City, and I just made an album with him.
Oh, nice.
And I used lessons from this Stovetop Proj for our collab. Some of these tunes, obviously he was improvising, but I even did it to his kind of like whatever verse, chorus, verse type, things with kind of form. I gave him my first reaction. I jumped from the pole, and that shows to go you the shit. It's not just rarefied, it can be only used for. Oh, this is this. I remember. Did I tell you about the gig I did at a club that had 2 rooms? One had Rashid Amin Ali.
No.
I'm talking to Amin. He's playing with his father, and he goes, "This is one of those gigs where you just make shit up." Like somehow that's fucking easier.
Right.
So I didn't try to use theory so much. I tried to use what Jack was talking me about, and it's in his book called The Free Music, where you just try to become part of that moment, right? He has a lot of ways of expressing that, different ways to get about it. There's probably techniques he's developed and stuff. And also, he probably encounters different people, and everybody's got their own approach on this.
Right. Definitely.
Is that right? Okay. So that was my theory, is just be like a fucking reed next to the, pond there, and whatever breeze comes through, resonate with it.
Yeah.
That was my theory. What about you guys?
What do you think, Brandon?
Well, yeah, I improvise in different ways. Sometimes on the record there were places for like a sort of guitar solo, and I would improvise takes. I did a few takes, but they were all improvised, and I was thinking more of a physical approach and textural, not really theory based. I think I've thought about theory so much that it's probably in there and influences my choices, but I'm not thinking about oh well, I'm playing this scale or this chord. Yeah, I've thought about theory enough that it's just I'm not I'm going for it, just improvising. You have to put that stuff away. I mean, I practice theory and think about it a lot in other contexts, but not when I'm recording or playing live or improvising with other people.
And you might.
Yeah, the same way. I mean, I've studied theory in some contexts since I was 4 years old. So when I used to think about theory a lot, and I would balance that by trying to do more like what maybe Watt is saying, where I used to focus a lot on just following my physical impulse. And like, if I feel the impulse, like, do it, don't stop yourself. And I think I took a lot of that from spending time with Milford Graves. But I would try to balance that with some type of hyperactive thought process and decision making in real time. After a while, I think it's just assimilated, and at this point, I can just begin a thought on the instrument, of any instrument, and I'm fairly confident that I can create something interesting just by following my intuition completely. And if I go back and listen to it and I can't figure out what the fuck I'm doing, I usually think it's pretty good. But if I go back and listen to it and I can hear me playing this type of a scale, it always sounds stupid. So I'm trying more and more to just be completely free, and there's enough within me, just like as a human being, hopefully there's enough humanity in a person that I can be a good human without having to try so hard. So hopefully I can create music in the same way.
Yeah. What about like this idea? There's this test called the Rorschach test.
Mm-hmm.
And here's this ink blot. And what do you see?
Right.
Now, is it really being about accurate?
No, it's about
accurate.
It's about it being
about responding, right?
Yeah, totally.
That's the way I try to look at it. Of course, all the stuff, all the times you played before this time, they all add up to where you are at this moment. Mm-hmm. So like you say, there's a reservoir of knowledge stuff. Also, probably a buttload of shit that got spaced and forgotten.
Yeah, or stuff you tried to excise,
Or that too, unlearn.
Back
because they were bad habits. They were bad cliches and shtick.
Yeah.
Yeah.
For years, I refused to play a boom, 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 like a quarter note on the rim click. I refused to do that for many years because I just...
Same old.
I just had to put my foot down. Like, hey, can you just do like quarter notes on the rim click? Like, no, I won't do that. You can get a drum.
So the theory, it's part of learning your machine, your instrument. But in the moment, I think you got to really keep a check on that, or a barrier will become between you and the shit you're trying to join up with.
I play with a lot of players still now, that I know when they're doing that on the game. You can tell. I mean, you'd be astounded. I play with people, and you just know that they're doing that. They're sort of practicing or working stuff out on the gig, or you can tell right away. It happens all the time. You'd be surprised.
Yeah.
You all know that.
Totally.
Like, okay, we're going to do a poem. So every fucking line's going to rhyme.
Right.
No.
Yeah.
Poetry is just something that ain't prose. It doesn't mean every line rhymes.
Right.
But see that rule? And that's what danger of theory, I think, can happen. All of a sudden the rules get in there. And then
many ways.
Yeah, but I thought the whole fucking get-go, the Launchpad slogan was free.
Right.
But right there, you start contradicting with, you know what I mean? If you start putting these kind of
Well,
Good
and
song.
then, to be really free of negative impulse, you probably have to put in a lot of work, you know?
Yeah, yeah.
In my case,
Kay
like
used to call it the
free, easy,
blank
but
slate.
the impulses that get in the way and ruin it, it's a
It,
lifelong process of getting.
yeah, well, again, like the unring the bell thing. It's kind of, you got to suspend reality a little bit.
Yeah, but that's different than conceptualizing and saying I'm going to send Mike Watt a drum part that has this type of a feeling, but I'm going to improvise from point A, and then I don't know what's going to happen. But being cognizant of the fact of what its purpose is definitely changes the way I improvise a little bit. But I don't think of that as any different from composing, really, or improvising. It's just quicker.
Yeah. It's just trippy, that moment, that period of time from when, whoa, here's something I would have never thought of if I didn't hear that. Now I got to make it fit.
Right.
Whoa.
Right.
But then there's another impulse. No, you make it fit. You let it fit. Let it find its way. All of a sudden, the part is separate from you.
Right. Yeah. Yeah. And you
Ain't
follow
that trippy? The part gets its own life.
totally.
Songs get that way, but inside songs, parts. Now
Oh, yeah.
I'm learning this more and more with the improvised thing.
Yeah.
They're born into a world that didn't exist, and then they start growing in a world that's existing in its moment. In fact, it's how it's developing. It's not such static.
Yeah, one thing about a couple of the reviews that I've read of the album so far have people seem to can't quite get over how cohesive our sound is by being separated, and it's like which
Right.
puzzles me. If I'm reacting to you guys on the record, and I'm
We've been
making music, we've been doing this forever. We don't need to be in
years.
the same room.
Yeah.
I just think it's really weird because when you think of rock star, yeah, individuals, but we, like earlier we were talking about the idea of the band, the ensemble. That's actually what we celebrate. But at the other side of it, it's like, no. You know what I mean? It's about individuals. No, it isn't. If you actually want to play with somebody, you got to listen to the cat, come up with a part that aids and abets. I mean, that's always going to be the issue at the end of the day.
And we're also three very highly individual players also, but we
it's
know
not
how
like we're on three separate freeways unaware of each other.
And I thought it was funny that, that's one thing that I guess people don't, they think they have an idea in their head that the band's in the studio, they have to be in the same room, and no.
They'd be surprised how a lot of bands, they don't even make eye contact.
Yeah, exactly. If we were bands in the same room, sound like they're not playing together at all.
It was like that with me and Georgie and Minutemen and Firehose. A lot of times he would look, and then with Porno for Pyros, it was completely different. Those guys, because they went to Bali, right? They saw them ladies dancing. So they brought that shit over. And I couldn't believe it. You had their eyeballs right on you. It was great in a way. Because you were literally connected. All you had to do was bring some good bass. But I like that idea. But okay, we can't put the eyes on each other because the music's being traded as files. You still have the respect for the sound, so you're listening with everything you got.
Yeah, so you're listening harder. I was listening more. I was listening for
right. I'm listening
conversational, improvising with the drums against the bass. I was craving to,
because that's all your cues, right? You don't have the eyeballs.
Yeah.
You don't have the smirk or the little hike of the eyebrow.
Like the oral cues made so much sense to me, and the pacing, and you guys are such strong individuals on your instruments with your ideas. Everything was so easy because you guys are you have so much conviction, and so to me it was like
totally conviction is the same thing with every time I got parts from Brandon, I'd drop them into the session and it would always be like, oh yes, sounds amazing. There was never a second of doubt about anything that was sent to me from Brandon at all. It was always like, oh, this sits perfectly. This is great. And nothing I would have ever been able to think of, which is exactly why I wanted Brandon, because I wanted his perspective. So the more of that perspective we got, the stronger it became. that's a big part of how strong it is. I was listening to it this morning. I was like,
Yeah, I
it's
listened to it today too. I hadn't listened to it in a long time. I thought it was and big ups to Mike Pride for the mixing.
Yeah.
did the
Did a
best I
great
could.
job.
Yeah, I'm happy with it. I'm still learning every day. So
I know the next one's going to be even better.
next one's going to be even better. Me and Jamie Saft had a conference call, and he gave me some perspective on the next round that was super.
Oh, nice.
And educational. But I love the sound of this. It's awesome. I'm very, very proud of it, and I'm excited to keep growing.
Anybody's got a good question?
Let's see. Did we use every track we made? Yes.
Nice. Yeah. No leftover.
Exactly. We used everything.
You can't have any extras.
9.
Yeah, it wasn't like
Is that it?
we're jamming and we got to pick what's good. So we made the pieces.
Yeah, because I mean, you'd have so much. I mean, imagine that, like 6 hours of material to.
Right.
Is that what you started with, Mike?
What do you mean? Started with what?
6 hours of material.
No, I'm saying it was not that. It was Mike made.
Yeah, I made a piece at a time. So I'd record a drum part that I thought was interesting. I just have to run down to text the client, unfortunately. Then I would work with it until, just sound wise, until I thought it sounded like something I would like to play with. It's the only judge I can have.
And that's all I got. So I don't have any extra.
Yeah, exactly. So we sent that, and that's what it was. And then Watt responded to that, to which Brandon responded, and me and Brandon worked on ideas and all of form ideas. And then I overdubbed percussion or an organ here and there, and then we were on to mixing. Like every ingredient that went was used. I don't think anything.
I don't think so.
And I wouldn't want it to not be used because I wouldn't want it to be contrived. I think it should be like just as if we're improvising in the room. If that's what you're going to play, like that's what it is. And everybody played brilliantly. I'll speak for you two, not for myself. I did the best I could.
You too? Are you kidding me?
So
check out Mike Pride's solo, marimba solo on the song Tiller.
Oh yeah,
incredible. Concerto for marimba.
Ed Marimba.
Yeah.
Art Tripp.
Right.
He was in the Cincinnati Orchestra as a teenager. Look, I think we answered that. Is there another question?
I think we good. Are we?
Let's see here. No, I have to just text this client. So
we can wrap it up. I mean, it's getting.
Yeah. So let's see here. Here, Brandon, just let me respond to this woman real quick.
Yeah. What other question? Let me see. What do we got here? Anything else on here? Let me see.
Okay, I'm done with that.
No, let me see. I'm looking for a question.
You guys post the stems to people to play with. I would say just pick up the album and play with it.
Yeah, nice.
You don't need the stems. You just need the music, and then there's plenty.
And I didn't supply any stems. I only supplied bass.
What's that?
Stems are groups of tracks.
Yeah, well, I think
I think for every track I gave one bass track.
Yes. Yeah. Exactly.
So no stems from what?
Right. Oh, yeah. Well, that's true.
Stems are like sub mixes.
Even if we had,
groups of tracks.
I wouldn't post them regardless. I would say I would stick to my original answer, which is just jam with the album.
There was a Todd Rundgren album like that, right? You could mix it.
Was there? I don't know a lot about him, but I think Brandon. Do you know much about?
I love Todd Rundgren.
One record. I don't know about all his records, but one record he let people mix it.
Right.
I'm trying to think. I don't know which one that is.
Something more recent, obviously. But.
Yeah. I lost track after 1990. I mean, it ain't that recent. It's more recent. Yeah. I fall off after 1989 with Todd.
But I don't think I don't think putting up even remixes.
Yeah.
Yeah, we don't.
I've heard remixes where they don't even sound like the original song at all.
Yeah, well, I'm guilty of that for my buddy Sam Mickens, but yeah, I think the meaning of the remix is different purposes and intents.
Yeah, it's especially with this project. I think what it is, you know, that's what you're eating is what got cooked.
Right. Yeah, exactly. That's the meal. Deal with it.
And to like spit it out, chew it up again, you know, regurgitate.
Uh-huh. I did send Brandon a
down.
that my computer just made by chance one time of, I don't remember what track it was, but it was just a snippet, and that shit sounded amazing, but I just wouldn't let myself go there and loop that. But there was
I said let's make it another one, but no.
Yeah.
Good call on that. No, we didn't need that.
I think conceptually it's not the right call. Sonically it sounded amazing, but that can be our little secret, you know. They can put that on the box set sometime.
Yeah.
What
other good questions?
Well, I think. Should we wrap it up soon? I might have to go soon.
Sure.
I think. I'm looking for any other questions. Well, there's a question to you, Watt, and then I don't see anything else new.
Yeah.
But it's a three-layer cake question, right?
No, it's not. It's about.
No, I'm not going to answer.
Yeah. Okay. Yep. Let me see.
I'll head down to my office and show the album while we go with the.
Here, I'll put a track on. While we sign off here.
Wait.
Let's see.
Farming Studios.
Here we go. Here's a track while we sign off.
Yep. So this album is the CD. CD's in my splitter. Out today. Everywhere you can buy stuff. It's not hard to find. RareNoiseRecords.com. LP. Green
Oh,
vinyl.
nice. This one sounds good.
Journey with the three-layer cake.
Can you hear it?
Yeah.
Oh, yeah, big time. Sounds good.
The mix on this one. I love the mix on this one.
This one was hard.
This one's wild. Oh yeah, this one is great mix on this.
Great playing.
Okay, Stovetop from three-layer cake out today.
Out today.
Boys Records.
And that's it. Until next time.
We'll see you. Let the track play. Oh, all right. I was going to let them have the track play. All right, everybody. Have a great day. Thank you. Three-layer cake, Rare Noise Records. Have a great day.